Smash Mouth would explode onto the scene in 1997 with their debut record Fu Shu Mang, which was propelled by the single Walkin' on the Sun. The song was inescapable. In my home country of Canada, the song was featured on a yearly compilation called Big Shiny Tunes. Big Shiny Tunes was an album that was put out once a year from our version of MTV called Much Music that featured the past year's hottest songs. The commercial for Big Shiny Tunes back in the day was on constant rotation. In addition to appearing on rock radio, the song was inescapable. I always thought to myself when I had heard Walkin' on the Sun, what a cheery sounding song. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. It would turn out that the inspiration for the single was not cheery at all, and the track would be inspired by a tragedy. That's what we're going to discuss in today's video. In 1992, Los Angeles and its residents would suffer through riots brought on by the anger caused by the Rodney King trial. 1 year prior, 4 police officers were captured on camera beating an African-American man named Rodney King, and the officers would stand trial and be acquitted of most of the charges, including excessive force and assault. For nearly a week in late April and early May of 1992, riots would engulf the city of Los Angeles, resulting in nearly 63 people being killed, almost 2,400 people being injured, and more than 12,000 being arrested, in addition to $1 billion worth of property damage. All while this was going on, 400 miles to the south, Smash Mouth guitarist Greg Camp would witness the mayhem on television and recall to the LA Times, there was a lot of racial tension everywhere because of the riots, and as I was riding my bicycle through a neighborhood one night, I was kind of afraid where I normally wouldn't be afraid. I looked around and said, why does it have to be like this? It's time to write a protest, a 90s let's all get along type of song. So I kind of wrote it while I was riding my bike. This would result in Walkin' on the Sun. The original demo that Camp had come up with was quite different than the final version that ended up on Smash Mouth's debut record, as Camp would tell Songfacts. I wrote it on a chintzy little nylon string guitar that I had, and it sounded to me more like Santana or something. It had bongos and maracas and stuff on the original demo. By this point in time, Smash Mouth hadn't yet formed, and Camp was playing in a different band who didn't take a liking to the song. Recalling to the LA Times, they hated it. The singer didn't want to sing it, so that was that. Camp would take his demo and toss it into his closet where it collected dust. But by 1994, he would be playing in a new band called Smash Mouth after joining forces with singer Steve Harwell and bassist Paul Delisle, as well as drummer Kevin Coleman. It would be the band's drummer who found the demo and brought it to the band, but Camp was reluctant at first. He would credit Coleman for pushing the song through the band, telling the LA Times. Nobody else in the band was really stoked about it. It wasn't hard enough and they didn't want to get all socially political, but Kevin was adamant. He kind of had to force us into actually learning how to play it, and then when our producer heard it, he said that's the one. In a separate interview, he would tell Songfacts how the song underwent some big changes to get it into its final version, saying, we took it to Eric Valentine who produced the record, and we just put this more locomotive driving beat to it. It was already simple, so we just did this little Dorsey style riff in there, and that's what happened. The singer brought it out to where it was supposed to be. He had this gravelly voice, but it still had a melody, so it just worked. Walkin' on the Sun would be a standout track from the group's debut album, as the rest of the record was more pop punk and ska punk. It would be a local San Jose station, KOME, in 1996, who began playing a Smash Mouth demo of the song Nervous in the Alley. Smash Mouth by this point was unsigned, but the attention from local radio gave the band an opportunity to appear alongside No Doubt and 311, as well as other acts at the Camp KOME Music Festival the same year. The attention resulted in a lot of press, but also some backlash from the local music scene, with Camp recalling to Billboard, we played Camp KOME at Shoreline, and we're on the cover of BAM or Bay Area Music before we even got signed, and everyone freaked out. Other bands were like, why are these guys getting all the attention? They haven't been in the trenches that long. The reality was that the band members had played in different groups and had been involved in music for a very long time. Lynn McDonald, who worked for Interscope, would see the band perform at a house party in San Jose a few years back and tried to get the label to sign the band, but their request would fall on deaf ears. It wasn't until the band recorded their demo on their own dime that McDonald finally had something proper to take back to the label to get the group signed. The song would chart all over the world, peaking at #1 on the US Airplay Top 40 charts and alternative airplay charts. That does it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again on Rock and Roll True Stories. Take care.